All right, Libra. So this week from Late Vampire, you pulled Hunter, Aggressor, Tracker, and Provider. And then from Chakra Wisdom, you pulled Recovery. Two very beautiful cards here. Now, Hunter, the blessing is talking about how now is the time to actively seek out that which you want. See how far your strength can take you. And then working with this card says it's time to establish how to obtain what it is that you want. You must not ask another to go after it. You must find that part within you that has the courage to chase what you would make yours and be honest about it. So basically it's saying that, when you start aggressively hunting down the things that you want, you can't wait for permission, and you have to be honest with yourself about the things that you're going after. But I think for a lot of you, it's going to be after a period of recovery that you're able to do this. Now, recovery from Chakra Wisdom. The very first quote for this card says, pain from our past unlocks the door of understanding. The inspiration says, once the key has been used to open the door, you will have a new way of living, one without keys. Where you are heading, there are no locks. The personal question says, it is time to recover a part of me that has been dormant. Am I ready to live an inspired future? The key ideas are facing fears, wounding is strength, courage to face pain, and awakening greatness. So for a lot of you, there's going to be some pain from the past that you're going to have to dredge up here with recovery. But again, wounding is strength. All right, Libra, here we go. Here's the energy coming through. The Eight of Wands. So things picking up quickly. It immediately is what I feel like. It does have to do with communication, but it's like energy is moving fast. The Eight of Wands is one of those cards where when things start moving quickly, I've always said that the door kind of opens and you will know when is the right time for you to act. But for a lot of you, it's just wanting to get through something quickly, energy that's picking up fast around you, situations that are going to be moving quickly through the week. And for some of you, it will have to do with like fast communication. Now in the past, the Knight of Cups. Now, again, that offering is coming through here. Now, for some of you, definitely it could have to do with, love communication here when you're looking at the Knight of Cups. Normally this being the, quote unquote, knight in shining armor, it has to do with somebody offering that cup, that, emotional experience, like, here, let me offer this to you. So it could be you offering it to somebody else or an offering being made to you. Now, it just depends here. This could have to do with like a romantic situation, but then on the other hand, it just could be a really good emotional offering as well. And then on the other hand, with the Knight of Cups, it is about following your heart. Ooh, yeah, moving quickly, definitely moving quickly. So the Chariot. Now, when you're looking at the Chariot, the big thing with this is about getting control over the opposing forces, right? The way that you're thinking, the way that you're feeling, what you're desiring, where you feel like you're going, and getting everything going in the right direction. That's where that victory and that quick momentum comes in. Now, for some of you, it could literally mean travel. I mean, you have a Knight, you have the Chariot, and then you have the Eight of Wands. For some of you, it may be some communication that's happening here where you're doing some traveling because of an offer that's being made. But, the energy looks good, and then you have Hunter too, like aggressively seeking what you want, and you're doing it quickly here. Wow. And then you have the World. And what's funny to me is I'm seeing this open road. Now, with the World, it is the ending of the majors. It is a major completion in life. You're looking at a successful completion of events and then the opening of a new beginning here. But the World is feeling accomplished, feeling successful, and ready to start that new beginning, and you're doing it quickly. And I think that some of you are like quickly moving to an end on like certain things and then, opening back up here into something new. Especially with the Knight of Cups still coming through here. But again, I'm seeing the road, you have the Chariot, and then, it's just travel, like travel for some of you. Your best path to follow. Very nice. Very, very nice, Libra. That's beautiful. The Four of Wands. Now, when I see it here, the very first thing that I feel is there's going to be a reason to celebrate, right? The Four of Wands is also about like seeing the initial like phases of a project start to take shape, and it looks good. It's like it's time to take a break now to celebrate how far you have come. And again, when things are going good, right, there's a reason to celebrate and to be happy about the accomplishments that you've made here, especially with the world sitting next to that. It looks really good. Whatever projects you're working on, you're starting to see things come together. There are some major completions that are happening here, but there's definitely a feeling of success and quick momentum forward. But I feel like with the Knight of Cups, there's still more. There's like still more offers that are coming through here. And it looks good. And then for some of you too, looking at Hunter in the Chariot, again, kind of getting control over what it is that you want and being honest with yourself about it. But overall, fantastic energy. In your environment, the Nine of Wands. So yeah, and that makes sense looking at recovery. Now, the Nine of Wands, though, is saying that for some of you, and I'm looking at, how it's lining up here. If you're doing a lot of back and forth communication, and you're doing this in regards to offers that are coming through with the Knight of Cups here, whether it's romantic or business. With the Nine of Wands, it's saying that, for some of you, you may be a little bit on guard. And it may be because, when you're looking at the Nine of Wands, first of all, it's the wounded warrior. This is somebody who's been through stuff before. You may have had offers that have come through before that didn't pan out the way that you wanted them to, is what it feels like. Now, it's saying that there's persistence there, though, in terms of, you definitely being very persistent on exactly, what you want here. You still have some fight left in you, but I think that for some of you, if you do have offers coming through, you're going to be kind of on guard because things may not have worked out before in the past. But overall, things start to move into like this really successful feeling here with the Chariot in the world. And I think that right now what you're looking at is quick momentum here, but then there's kind of, a little bit of like, I don't want to say hesitation, but more of, a conscious awareness that, I've had these offers before. I just want to make sure that, these things are not going to fall through, but the world is saying that things are going to be successful, which is really good. Your hopes and your fears, the Seven of Swords, and the way that I kind of see that is, first of all, when you're talking about the Seven of Swords, right, it is sneaky. It's sneaky, not, I don't want to say deceptive here, but more of like not really revealing plans. And it's funny because I'm looking at the fingers crossed, and it's like, I hope I'm lucky with this, right? And it kind of has the feeling here where, there may be some communication that's going on. But, the fear is that, there may be something going on behind the scenes that you're not aware of, especially when it comes to like other offers that are coming through with that Knight of Cups. But I think that for some of you, it's like you're not, the reason why there is like this need to keep things quiet is because it's almost, I kind of feel like, I'm trying to spit this out. Like you don't want to talk about it because you don't want to ruin it, is the best way to put it. Like, okay, there's this going on and this going on. I'm just going to, kind of keep quiet about what my plans are until, I know for sure things are going to work out. And that may be where the fear is coming in, that, there may be something going on behind the scenes that you're not aware of, but I'm not seeing it as deception. I'm seeing it more in terms of you and the way that you're looking at what is coming through for you, especially if it's coming through quick. And then on the other hand, too, if you're doing some traveling, it may be something that you're not wanting, to talk about just yet until you know how things are going to develop. And a lot of that comes from the energy of the Nine of Wands underneath that. But seeing the Four of Wands there, though, is suggesting that there's going to be a reason to celebrate here, which is good to see. Very nice. Very, very nice. And I feel good about it seeing that. Now, your outcome is the Three of Cups. Looking at that, to me, is talking about, you know, the support group. So if you do have offers coming through, you know, you may have a couple of different people that you're working with here. But again, there is celebration coming out of this, and it looks really good. There's going to be a reason to celebrate. If you're working on creative projects with other people, these people do support you and support what you are doing. And I do feel like, you know, the offers that are coming through are kind of based on, you know, something that is more about following your heart. You know, it's not so much that it's just work or that it's just a creative project. There's a lot of emotion behind this. Like it has, you know, significant meaning to you. And then looking at the Three of Cups coming out, the energy looks beautiful, Libra. I think that whatever you're working on is going to turn out fantastic. And you're going to have a group of people here that are definitely going to be celebrating your success with you. I mean, it's beautiful. There's a lot of quick movement. A lot of you may be doing some traveling when it comes to this. There may be a group of people that you're working with here, but I'm telling you, you know, luck is on your side. It feels like luck is on your side because I keep looking at the crossed fingers like, yes, you know, it's not a bad thing. You know, for once, the Seven of Swords doesn't feel like horrible. But the communication looks good. I just think that there may be a part of you that's a little bit on guard here. And it may be because, you know, you've experienced this before, especially with the Knight of Cups being in the past. You know, and just wanting to make sure that these new opportunities, these new offers are working out the way that you want them to. But overall, it looks really good. All right, Libra, we're going to take a look at the soul trees to see what other messages there are for you guys. But it looks really good. Whatever it is that you're working toward and you're aggressively hunting down here, things look good. And action, yes, definitely action. But honoring yourself too is going to come into play here when it comes to offers. You know, you want to make sure that you're being true to yourself on, you know, what it is that you're wanting here. Because, you know, it feels like, especially with the Four of Wands here and the Knight of Cups, again, this is a project that has a lot of significance to you. There's a lot of emotions surrounding this. So, you know, you want to be true to yourself, definitely, especially with the Nine of Wands being there. That energy kind of comes in. But action. You will know when it is the right time for you to act. That door will open up, even if the energy is moving quickly here. But the beginning looks good. The beginning of something that's going to be really good. It's going to be true to yourself. You're hunting down things that, you know, are in line with yourself, and it looks really good. All right, Libra, we're going to take a look at Whispers of Love to see what messages we can get for you guys to help attract love in your life. But beautiful reading. Miracles and blessings. Everything has its gift. Very nice. And then consider your foundation. You are being asked to look at how committed you are to love. So basically, you know, for me, it can suggest commitment issues when you're looking at this card. But, you know, I just think that for some of you, when you have these miracles and blessings starting to show up in your life in such a beautiful way, right? You have to consider how committed you are to, you know, not just love, but projects and family and things like that. But it looks really good, Libra. I would just, you know, with consider your foundation, just make sure that, you know, you're committing yourself fully to the things that you are aggressively tracking down. All right, Libra, this reading looks really good. I love the way that this played out here because, you know, I kind of had a little bit of a weird feeling with the Knight of Cups coming through. Now, I do think, though, that some of you are kind of like on guard a little bit because you're not really sure here if things are going to work out the way that you're expecting it to with the Nine of Wands. I think that maybe you've had offers before that didn't work out. And that's kind of why that energy is there. But it's like you're still ready to move, like, quickly here. And I do think that some of you are going to be doing some traveling. You're ready to move on something here. You've got control over what's going on. There's this nice, successful feeling here with the world.
things have completed itself out. You're looking at new opportunities and new offers. And I'm telling you, there is going to be a reason to celebrate, absolutely. I mean, the two of them are beautiful together. And I do think, with the Seven of Swords sitting here, it's funny because normally I'd be like, what's up with that sketchy stuff, right? But the fingers are crossed, so I'm like, yeah, good luck. Like, good luck. Basically, it's saying that you're hoping that things work out the way that you want them to, but there's the fear side of it where, you know, you may be afraid of things that are going on behind the scenes that you don't know about that may like kind of sabotage what's going on. Now, on the other hand, some of you just may not be talking about things just yet until you know for sure how things are going to develop. But either way, you've got celebration coming out on this. And what I love here is that, you know, you guys, when you're talking about offers not working out correctly, you know, after a period of recovery here, you start tracking down the things that you want. So these two look great. Now, the beginning, honor yourself in action, right? Before you can take action towards the new beginning, you have to be true to yourself. But then also, it's important to remember to honor yourself when it comes to things that might be offered to you that you're not quite sure about. You know, you need to be true to what you want. But it looks good, and I'm not seeing anything bad here. And you have miracles and blessings, but, you know, it's important to remember to consider your foundation, whether it's with the projects you're working on or love, right? You want to be fully committed to what you're doing here. But either way, Libra, by the end of the week, I think some of you are going to be doing some celebrating.